Hi all. Right, I've got a little bit of time to hopefully do a German impulse. I'm going to see what the cards are first, but haven't had any feedback on the situation with this latest one that's came up, which is really kind of bugging me. I have been thinking about it's quite possible that you don't break restrictions as you're moving units as much as I'm maybe thinking about it. Moving a unit from A to B. Probably the majority of the time you're not actually breaking any restrictions unless you end up in the hex and then you see you've broke the restrictions. So it might be more of that, and maybe not something as big a deal as I'm thinking. But certainly the issue with this unit, if I'm understanding it properly, then he wouldn't have been able to move at all. So, but I can't go back and look on other things. But I would like to move this unit back, if I find out. But I just want to double check. I'd like John to come back and confirm that that's what he's meaning. Maybe Martin to sort of say, well, yeah, that's how it is, and or anybody else for that matter. Okay, so I'm going to try and get a German impulse going. Of course, if it happens to be anything to do with the 58th, then I'm going to have to make a decision myself. Actually, just before I do, I did have another consideration. I remember I had just finished playing the fifth core card, and I was swithering about making an attack on this unit, and I never considered the possibility of attacking here. I mean, there's two units in there. One is bracketed, and admittedly, the one on top's an elite armour unit, but it's 3 strength, and we've got 6 strength there. So we'd be getting a 2-to-1 odds. He's in a woods hex rather than a forest, which is beneficial. He's still got a unit adjacent, mind you. And adding tank battalion doesn't... Well, it does help because it matches his armour, but the fact he's got armour already means I kind of have to play that. But then that increased my strength to 7. And 7 against 3 doesn't really do anything else. And then the engineers would only do the same. It would add another strength point, so I could get 8 against 3, but again that doesn't increases chip pools. So I had sort of pondered on that and then wondered maybe that would be a better attack, and possibly, I mean, we're not still not going to be able to trade supply by, even if we knock these guys back somehow, but it just feels like it might be a better attack. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it. The fact it's an elite armoured unit. If it was because they had, that attack was against a green unit, and that was a temptation to go in there, and a green infantry unit even, but elite armoured unit over there just, I think, doesn't make it that much better an attack, really. Okay, I'm going to leave it. I don't really know what I'm doing at the moment, so I think I'll just leave it. Okay, so let's see what the 2 cards are for the German impulse. Okay, let's see what we get. I think there was 8 cards left, so oops, I've just wrecked things again. Oh, great. Right, it's the lowest number, isn't it? Yeah, it makes sense. So it's going to be the 58th. Because they're both primary cards, both got 2 of a command value, but this is the lowest number. Okay, so no event here. We're going to activate all units in the 58 core, so I'm going to have to decide if that unit's moving back or not. Right, I managed to stall long enough there. Actually, this has been cut. It's been sitting overnight. I didn't really get the time to get back anyway. But I did manage to get some reply from Martin at least. John's no come back and said anything, but according to what Martin says, it seems that he reckons that yeah, John's spot on, and maybe something that he's not, Martin himself hasn't noticed either, or whether he thinks it's been the intention as well, I don't know, but he says it's hard to argue with what the rules say, and it does tend to lead you that way when it says, consider, what is it? These restrictions apply to every hex of German movement. So he has said that he reckons he's got a few questions that he could put together to ask John. So maybe this could be one of them, just to confirm. I don't know, but certainly nobody's come back and given me any reason to say that what John said isn't correct, and so we'll have to go with this. It's maybe not as bad as I really think. It just means when you're starting to move the units, you're going to have to watch with every step. It's more than likely going to be from the start, though, that that's going to matter. It's more than likely going to be from when the unit first moves. Right, I'm going to move this unit back here anyway, because that's where he's going to be, and see if there's any movement we can make, which is probably unlikely. But every movement, every hex that you move into, you probably need to just be looking at where it started and what it was protecting in the first place. I mean, this is protecting Allied supply being traced to this town. As soon as it moves to here, it is now not allowing Allied supply, and that's what stops the unit from moving. But it could be that it could move more, 1 hex, 2 hex. You maybe need to keep looking back there, but I don't think it will be that difficult, but certainly not something that I'd been looking out for. So yeah, well spotted, John. It's written in the rules, that's what it says. Again, unless we hear back from maybe John Butterfield himself saying that hadn't been the intention, and maybe words need to be written differently, but until then we've just got to go with how the rules are. Okay, let's try and get moving on then, because not enough of what's been happening. So yeah, I need to fix this, because we've just drawn the next 2 cards for the German Impulse, and it's activating 58 core. But fortunately, it was only 1 input. Well, we had the 80 core units activated, and then the 85th activated, but just before that, this was when this moved. So we were trying to move it with movement arrows, so we can't do that at all, because like we've said, as soon as he makes a move into that hex now, or even if it was that hex, then Allied supply is traceable that time. So we cannot move with movement arrows. Can we move any closer to the army objective? Well, this could be quite interesting, because it's possible, right? It is possible that he could maybe consider moving up this way to make sure he's still blocking the supply off. This is what feels a bit nuts about it, to be honest. I'll have a look, see if I can work out any kind of movement that he might be able to make. Okay, yeah, I think I've found a strange kind of move for him to make. So move closer to the army objective, and he would be trying to get adjacent to an allied unit with a 3-1 strength advantage. Well, that's not going to happen. But he can get closer to his army objective and not break the restriction. So he moves 1 to here. Now, supply is not traceable to that town still, because this is where the supply was trying to go, up through this hex. So obviously it's blocked off. 2, yeah, he can't still trace. 3, yeah, still can't trace. And then 4, 5, and then so every step of that movement, the 4 hexes that I moved into didn't allow supply traceable to that town by going that way, and yet my movement when I done that breaks that restriction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he was, I think it was 17 hexes. He's actually 2 hexes closer there because the army objective's slightly further north than what that was. So that's actually 2 hexes closer to his army objective. Okay, he can't reach, get an allied unit within his, get adjacent to an allied unit, but that's still, you know, if no hex or more than 1 hex offers a 3-to-1 advantage, move to the hex closest to the objective. And that's as close as I can see him getting without breaking restrictions. So yeah, so it was just him. So I think that's going to complete it. The only thing I can say that it could well have been possible that I've missed this before. Because it wasn't something I've been considering. And yeah, it's funny, when I was moving with the movement, I stopped there because that was his full, no, it was here. That was his 5 movement points, and then I went on to extended, but I then thought, well, maybe I should have a look if he's breaking any rules with ending there, but I have to say that no, I wouldn't consider every single hex that the unit moves into to check the restrictions. So we'll have to do it for now. Anyway, we'll just have to take that one on the chin and get on with it until we hear otherwise. Actually, what about detachments there? Yeah, where should we go? Now, actually, I'll see if I can just check John's comment, because he was talking about I had. This is the bit he picked up because I moved the unit in a way to grab a detachment that he said was then breaking the restriction. I'll see if I can find what he was talking about there. Can I get into that one? I don't think I can I? Was there one? Oh, you know what? I can actually go 1, 2. Oh no, I can't. Oh yeah, no, I started there. 1, 2, 3, 4 into clear hex, 5. So I think that would be allowed. Yeah, I'm still not. If he goes 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. Yeah, and then he can grab the 2 single point whole value hexes as detachments. Yeah, okay. Right, I'm just going to have a quick look at where John was talking about. I don't know, I think initially, because this was back, he was discussing part 6, and then I made some fixes, I think, and whether that's then taken back what he was talking about. Just give me a sec. Okay, I don't think it made any difference to this unit, because initially I'd moved this unit all the way to here, and yeah, he wouldn't have grabbed that detachment because I was actually breaking the restriction anyway. But then I rewound that, put that back to there. Now the one he is talking about is, well, let's just see how the unit moves. Okay, I can see where John's talking about now. It's the other unit that's in Houghton. So he was in Houghton, and we realised we couldn't move him too far away because Allied supply was going to be traceable at this time. You know, if I start going up here, Allied supply is traceable to that town. But then I work out I can actually move him into here, stopping, you know, and then Allied supply is not, and we're adjacent, whatever. But what I then do is I try to take a roundabout route to grab this detachment. So I'll go 3, 4, 5, staying in the same hex so that Allied supply is not traceable at that town, but just to grab this detachment. But as John points out, with what he's just brought to our attention, as soon as I move into there, with my first movement, which is 3 movement points into there, Allied supply is now traceable at that town. So I can't actually move into that hex. So I can't actually grab that detachment. And that's what he was bringing to attention in the first place. And that's what kind of stirred this all up. So yeah, so I've took that detachment away. That should have fixed that part. Okay, let's just get moved on now, because there's been enough looking over things at the moment. Well, let's get with the next command card, and it is, yes, the 58th Panzer Corps again. That's why I had to get things decided one way or the other. So we're going to activate these units. There's no roadblocks adjacent to any of them. the objective marker is here, not a German unit Proxima and not a German unit within 2. So we're then just going to go on to move these units. So we've got the 116 here, 1, 2, 3, 116 units. We've got the infantry unit there, and then this armoured unit there. I think that's it. And nothing as an active reserve either. Okay, let's see what they're going to do. Right, okay, first I thought maybe this guy might be able to move closer, right, movement method 2, closer to his objective and next to a VP hex, moving up into Toipon here, like adjacent to Toipon, which would be closer to his army objective. But then I remembered this guy's actually holding this stack of armoured units, and this guy is surrounded because he's zone of control, and this hex and this hex by himself. Right, he's the only one that holds zone of control in the 2 hexes. So don't know if you recall, but I just looked back in the video, and the last move this guy made was movement method 3, cause surround, and because no, that wasn't. Was it cause surround? It wasn't cause surround, Grant, was it? No, because he's already adjacent. It was probably move closer to army objective. Well, he's surrounding these units, so he's got to be careful. But he then moves from there to there, keeping these units surrounded, and moving one step closer to his army objective by moving into that hex. That was the last movement that unit made. I'm pretty sure it was. It must have been movement method 11, closer to army objective. Well, now his next activation is going to be cause surround again, because he's a German unit that's already causing this stack and this unit to be surrounded, but it's not adjacent. It's not in a hex adjacent to the units, so it's going to move either back into this hex or possibly into this hex. I've not really thought that one out yet. I think this is the situation that we had before. I think it ends up being closest to army objective. So you know what? I think it'll be that hex, because even though these are probably the same distance, the army objective marker's west, so it'll probably be that hex. So it seems kind of strange that it's moved out, and now it's going to move back in with its next impulse. Again, how can you work out all these moves within an AI to make it look normal and proper and how you would do things? You just can't. So it's just one of these things that have cropped up, but it does look rather odd, him moving away from these units, and now the next instruction's moving back. So just let me double check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be in this hex he's going to move, because this is the one that Martin brought up the last time. I was saying I wanted to move to adjacent to both of them. Well, that's not really what I should be looking at. I should be looking at the tiebreaker. As we discussed with, what was it, the 506 unit up there, the first SS, that was the situation. We had moved them into there. Actually, should have been there, because that's closer to his army objective, or it's the westernmost, whatever. Well, that's the same with this one. This time he is moving adjacent to both of them, but he prefers his tiebreak over that hex over that hex, because it's not closer to his army objective, but it's western. It's the western of the two, and that's what the army objective marker shows. So yeah, I think that's the first move. Okay, there's not any more options, and that was the only infantry unit in the core, so we can skip right through 5 to 9. Did think this unit could move up and it can move up and cause surround, but his Manhay is a victory point town, and yeah, the allied supply is going to be traceable up to there, so he can't do any of that nonsense. He's probably not going to move unless, yeah, I don't think he's going to move at all, to be honest. Okay, so looking at Unit 1, my methods 10 to 13. So we're back at Unit 1. So can he move with movement arrows? Well, we know we need to watch this. Oh, I'm off camera there, but so we know we need to watch this town down here, because supply can be traced up and around. So we've got to be careful. The good thing is we're probably going to be moving along the road that he would be trying to trace supply, so we should be able to keep that shut off. So let's just have a quick look. Well, I'll leave the camera running now just to look at arrows. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So potentially with primary arrow. Oh no, there's a primary that one, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. So primary arrows, he would actually go along to that hex. I'm pretty sure that would be breaking the restriction though. Okay, interesting again. Right, there's a second arrow going down into Hoofleys there. But I did check. If I follow the primary arrows, 1, I'm okay there. 2, I'd be okay there. 3, as soon as I go there. No, I'm okay there. As soon as I go there, 4, then this town's got Allied supply traceable to it. Because it comes up this road, along to this hex, and then down Hoofleys. So can't do that. And even the other option, 1, 2, 3, and then going secondary, 4, 5, up there, is just doing the same thing. But moving primary into here for 1, and then secondary, oh, that's 4. I was counting that as 5, isn't it? So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, his primary takes him back up there for 5. Well, actually, that's okay. Yeah. 1 into there, another 3 movement and the secondary arrow into there. Then looking at the primary arrow again, they spent 4 movement. So 5 takes them into there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is a big plus to that one though for him. He gains his town. So that then stops all the shenanigans with tracing supply, because now this guy can move away freely, because this town can't be traced up and around and can't come through Hoofleys. So there you go. Might have been looking at that thinking that was a bit of a weird kind of move, but it's done something positive this time, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to look over that. Yeah, I think that's all good. I don't see any restrictions being broken by that. Like I say, we were mainly watching this town, but I think that's how you're going to look at it. You're going to look at the sort of problem that you've got. I mean, the next time we go to move this unit, we're maybe going to be, hold on. No, look at that. As soon as I make that other move back into there, Allied supplies trace it with this town, because we've not got this bridge yet. Oh dear. Right, hang on. Back to the drawing board. Okay, because of that, I now think that this unit's going to go 1 primary arrow, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I'll just leave them there just now. 1 primary arrow, 2, 3, 4 in the secondary arrow, and then for his last movement point, rather than go that way, he can take this secondary arrow that way, and that way he takes that town on the way by. He ends up in this hex. He takes this bridge as well. And I don't believe Allied supply is traceable to Hoofleys. No. No, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. They could get onto this road, could get up to this detachment. But yeah, that's a German town. And that's going across a German bridge. And I don't think he can get in there. There's no German bridge there. So that's not a road up to there. No, the road would have to come from the town, so he can't go through the town anyway. Yeah, okay. Right. Wow, I almost got caught there again. That just shows you. Okay. Right. I'm pretty sure that's where it goes this time then. Right, I think I must have moved this guy out of place because I was surprised traceable to this town. Did I move when I was mucking about? I must have moved them. Or have I made a mistake again? Oh dear. Give me a sec. Okay, I've seen what happened. It's another knock-on effect to all this carry on. Because the reason this unit got... Remember, he's selector number 2. The reason he got to move here was because, and I already round this mind, was because selector number 1 was here. He ended up here after me fixing the fix from there, so he was able to move out, but he wasn't, he shouldn't have been there. He should have been, where was it? It was back up here somewhere. Anyway, what that then means is Allied supply is traceable down through here, basically. So he can't even move out of La Roche, because I thought, well, he could move there, but that's not closer to his army objective. So he wouldn't have moved out of La Roche at all, because of that. Okay, so let's jump ahead again. Selector number 2, trying to move via movement arrows. Well, he's got the exact same problem. If he moves any hex out of there, apart from he can move into that hex, that's the only hex I think he can move into. Well, not the only hex, but he's got to stop Allied supply being traced. So he's not going to be able to move via movement arrows. He's not going to get closer to his army objective because it's up that way. And as soon as he heads off that way, Allied supply is traceable to that town. He's not going to be able to infiltrate, and he's not going to be able to move adjacent to an Allied unit without breaking the restriction. So he's not going to move at all. Ah dear. And unit selector number 3 is probably in the same position because he's protecting this town. You know, as soon as he moves with arrows, that's it. Supplies traceable to the town, so that's not any good. Can't move closer to his army objective because as soon as he moves up there, can't infiltrate. He's already adjacent to an Allied unit, so that's his movement finished too. He's not going to move. And then the one in Manhay here, I'm pretty sure he's not moving because as soon as he moves, he could move 1 hex closer to his army objective there. But Allied supply is now traceable to that town, so I don't think he's going to move out there at all. So I think that's going to be it. There's a whole lot of protecting the towns. I mean, and now with the other units that are furthest sort of west, so I suppose they're needing the 47th to come along. It was probably a good time to see the 58 core card again, because if some of the 47th units had moved first, then it might have released the 58th to move further west, you know, with the support of the 47th, then gaining control or blocking supply to some of these towns as well. So I guess that's just the way it goes. Okay, so right, I think that's that impulse done. Alright, we do need to consider attacks, don't we? Well, actually, yeah. This guy could look at a possible attack here, I suppose. He's the only one that's adjacent, well, apart from this guy as well, but I think, is this not? Yeah, this is 6 strength. That's 3 against 6, that's not going to happen. But we probably do need to consider this one up here. So give me a sec. Well, Don't have assault coordination as a support card. The support card, combat tactics, infantry, infiltration. So no assault coordination, which certainly would have helped here because he's got two 1st SS units adjacent. So we can't count that, and there's no reserve units. So we're only getting to count the unit themselves. That's 4 against 2. He's got a +1 for an IP. That's 4 against 3. He's got a +1 for a unit adjacent. That's 4 against 4. So it's 1-to-1 odds. That's not a clear hex, is it? It's a broken hex, yeah. So 1-to-1 odds. Modifiers, that guy's not elite. It's not an army card. Support card shows applicable combat tactic. That will be, won't it? Infiltration. Yeah, it is applicable. So it's 1-to-1 odds with a -1 for the combat tactic being applicable. So 1-to-1. Alright, that's probably unlikely then. So an 8, -1's a 7. Cancel less than 3-to-1 or attacking from 1 hex. Well, both of them apply because I think that doesn't take it. Well, anyway, this is less than 3-to-1. Okay, so I think that was only considerations, wasn't it? So that's going to be the impulse over. I don't think. Well, there was none of the units. They were all single units in the other hexes. Couldn't come back to reserves. Yeah. So, but we do have a support card that's not been used. Yeah, okay, so that card was away. And now we're back. Well, let's see, 5th Corps again. We just done stuff with them as well, didn't we? Recently. So, okay. So no roadblocks, army objectives far enough away without needing to move it. So let's see where they're going to move. Now, they just move with normal movement methods. It's the other corps that have got the core objectives. So let me have a look. I just had almost a breakdown there. When I seen the time, I'm just looking about here, and Wilts is looking there, and I'm thinking, Wilts can ally supplies traceable with Wilts. What's going on there? And I remember it was one of the ones where the detachment spawned another detachment, and when you do that on an ally town, it takes the town. So that means that there's not been a unit left there. It is a consideration of trying to get one of these, try to get a unit into it, but I don't think I can reach with these guys. So, but just when I seen it, I thought, oh no, what have I done? I just noticed also here that we put a unit back to the reserves that last turn, didn't we? So he's an active unit in the reserve units box, so I need to remember that one. I'm pretty much on to movement methods 10 to 13 though. I can't see anything they're doing. And okay, here's a good one. And Unit 2 is not doing anything. He's the first one to consider. He can't do anything. Can't get closer. He's already adjacent to an allied unit. But Unit 5, I was just about to consider, well, he can go 1, 2, 3. He's 1 hex closer. He's moving adjacent to an allied unit. 3-to-1 strength and all that. It's not breaking any restrictions, but the tactical adjustments say that he's in an empty hex adjacent to that unit, so he wants to be in that empty hex. So he's not going to move with that. So that's one of the ones that I think I've been caught out with before. Martin eventually put me straight on how that works. Well, I say put me straight, hopefully kept me straight in it. So I don't think he's going to do anything either then, is he? No, he's already adjacent, so that's him out of the equation. Unit 8, the armoured unit. Yeah, none of these guys are moving. They can't get closer. They're already adjacent to allied units, so yeah, I can't see anything happening at all. So we've got 2 considerations. Well, really only one. This one's not going to be an attack. And this one we tried the last time, didn't we? I think so. Now, we've not got a support card. We do have a unit in the reserve units box, so he might come out and play. So we consider his strength as well, don't we? Yeah. So we've got 7 coming across the river, so that gets cut down to 3, and then our 3 there are 6, and then the 3 that would come in, more than likely going to come in, and this hex going to be across the river. So that would be 9. So it's 9 to 3, but he gets a -1. Oh, I think this is going to go, isn't it? So 5, 3, 6, 9 to 3, but he's in most supplies, so that's a 9 to 2. Yeah. So it's 9 to 2, so it is 4 to 1, so this is going to go ahead. Okay, good. Okay, so first things, we draw a combat tactic. Jings, that'd be the 58 core again. Well, I'm glad I drew it now, rather than mind you, I said they didn't do an awful lot last time, so if that had been an impulse again, then they probably wouldn't have done much. So what we got, infantry infiltration, which I don't think is going to help them, is it? They're already flanking. Oh no, that guy's in a town anyway, isn't he? Yeah. So that doesn't help. It gives them a chip pool, but... So, and then there's no support card, combat tactics. So now we've got to add the reserve unit. 2.21 now, right? We went through this before, didn't we? And he wants to go in a hex, not across the river. So... well now, hold on, Grant, he could maybe go in here, couldn't he? Could he go in here? No, he can't trace reserve supply from that hex. Or that hex. He could go in there or there, I believe. Yeah, I think he's going in this hex, because these 3 hexes are hexes, well, these 4 are across the river, but reserve supply can't be traced from there or there. So he's got a choice of these 2, and when it comes down to, there's the same amount of units in these hexes, then he wants to be closest to his army objective, and that hex is 1 hex closer than what that one is. So there we go. So he's in there. These guys are all attacking. So we've got 6 and another 3 coming across the river is 9. So it's 9 to 3 odds. So 3 to 1 odds. Chip pools is going to be 1, 2, nothing for that. 2 more for that because he's 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 for the infantry infiltrations, 5. And we're low supply. I don't think he benefits from that, does he? Is it low supply? Yeah, it means I can't play a combat tactic. Yeah, okay. Oh well, that takes that out of the equation then. I was considering, but I mean, I want that unit to retreat. The problem is, the first hex he's retreating into is going to take a set loss. But I wouldn't mind him retreating, because then he can trace supply. So... yeah, okay, so that's it. We can't play a card anyway. So 3 to 1 odds, 5 chip pools. I'll get the 5 chip pools. Well, there you go. The one time I wanted to be honest, I needed a couple of hits because he's in a town, so I really needed a D2 result so that I could retreat him back to one of these hexes. I got nothing at all. Not 1 shit applies. This was 5 to 1 on its front side, and less than 3 to 1 on the back. He's just got 3 to 1, so no artillery or air power played. And defender is not elite, and he's not green. He's just line quality. So So, well, nothing doing. You normally feel that's a good thing, but in this situation, no, I don't think it is. But however, right, okay. This has went on long enough, I think. So I think we need to take a little break. That's the German Impulse over. Just check. There should be about 5 or 6 cards left. Yeah, only 5 cards left in their draw pile. We've still got 2 cards left, but nothing really exciting to do with them. I do kind of feel afterwards, I think I should have made that attack up there. Not against the unit in the forest, but maybe against that armour. And yeah, because there's nothing exciting I've got to do with my last 2 cards anyway, and I could have just had a go and, you know, what was I getting? 2-1 odds, 5 chip pools. Yeah, you never know, you know, might have got something, and if I'd budged them, then it might have given me a chance to do something to start next turn, but yeah. Well, I didn't anyway, so no point harping on. Right, guys, I'll take a break for now. I'll be back with an Allied Impulse, hopefully sometime soon. Okay, cheers.